guys, welcome back to my channel for another video. Today I'm sitting down to share with you guys what I think are the 10 biggest benefits to homeschooling high school. Obviously, there's 100 million reasons why I think homeschooling for high school is incredible, but I tried to narrow it down to like my top 10, especially as I am now a mom getting ready to graduate my very first homeschooled child. My daughter is going into her senior year and I've got a son right behind her. So we are nearing the end of her homeschooling journey, and I feel very blessed and privileged to be able to speak on this from a place of wisdom and a place of experience, and not just like what I had hoped, but what I've actually seen be evident in my teenagers' lives. And I pray that it just encourages those of you with younger kids who are coming behind me. If you're a mom of a homeschooled high schooler and you have anything to add, please leave a comment down below, because obviously this, everyone's experience might vary, but I do feel like the things I'm going to share with you, which of course I have written down, are universal. All right, so the first biggest benefit of homeschooling high school that I feel extremely passionate about, which I do think is evident in the homeschooling videos that I've produced, is the ability, opportunity, and time to solidify your teenagers' worldview, their biblical worldview, solidify and really hone in and deepen their faith and their knowledge of things like apologetics and defending their faith and viewing the world through the biblical lens of what does God say about this, and all of that really comes to fruition in high school. And homeschooling is what facilitates the amount of time necessary to disciple properly. I do not think that adequate discipleship can take place after hours. And so homeschooling your high schooler allows you the gift of time and, energy to put forth into this area, which is the most important thing, in my opinion, far beyond math or science, is that incredible, rooted, true, solid faith that will stand. So, number one benefit of homeschooling high schoolers. The second biggest benefit to homeschooling your high schooler is that you remain the primary influence in their lives. And that is not to say that other people, other godly adults, keyword being godly adults, should not be influential in our children's lives. They should be in their proper roles and capacities. But there is absolutely no one else on this earth that should be influencing your child more than you. And the facts are, when you send your children to school outside of your home, they are being influenced by many other people, many other systems that are hostile towards what you are most likely trying to instill in your child. And then we wonder why we have a whole bunch of really confused teenagers, or a whole bunch of teenagers who are easily manipulated or deceived. And so remaining the primary influence in your child's life as they grow into young adulthood is incredibly important, and it is one of the biggest benefits of homeschooling your high schooler. The third reason that I think is one of the biggest benefits is really almost for you as much as it is for your high schooler. But it's an incredible thing to be able to have deep, profound, intellectual conversations with your homeschooled high schoolers. That's not to say that you can't have them with your younger kids and even your middle school aged kids, but there is something so rewarding that I've experienced personally about engaging your children in topics that you've been preparing them for and hearing how they process and receive information and their thoughts on things and what they would do with that and why they know that that's wrong, and just being able to experience some of that fruit that you are only beginning to see just the beginnings of is so rewarding, and you just don't get those same opportunities when you are not homeschooling your high schoolers. The next big benefit of homeschooling is your child's safety. Honestly, their physical safety, their mental safety, their emotional safety. All of that is not something to be overlooked. And obviously this will vary dependent upon where you live, but I mean, sin is everywhere. And so ensuring, and even with homeschooling, it's not 100% guarantee, right? Like none of us are guaranteed things by making the decision to homeschool, but you do eliminate a lot of potentials when you choose to homeschool, and that is just the facts. So your child's safety, peer influence, you're more involved as a homeschooler. There's less opportunities for honestly bad things, and your child getting pulled into something that you're not aware of, or hanging out with someone that you're not aware of, or somebody bringing something to high school and your child sees it or touches it and that's the end for them. Like, we are living in crazy times, and so this safety is another huge benefit of homeschooling your kids, and it's one that should not be overlooked. And it does not mean that the effects of sin do not enter into the homeschool situation as well, because they do, but there's just more, it's a more controlled environment. The next biggest benefit to homeschooling your high schooler is time as a family and time with siblings, especially younger siblings. Those relationships and those bonds are meant to be your child's number one relationship, not their friends at school, not their friends in the neighborhood. The siblings are supposed to be number one. Family is always number one, and homeschooling fosters that and encourages that and promotes that and facilitates that. So homeschooling allows your child to have the correct prioritization of the family being number one. And I have seen that in my own kids' lives, and so much time apart and attention being pulled elsewhere, and needing to go here and wanting to see that and do this. Too much of that, especially placing more importance on that over the family, is not the right environment for our high schoolers. And so homeschooling, huge benefit there. Moving into some of the more like academic things, because those are all kind of my biggest spiritual things, my family things. Some of these are a little more academic now. So another huge benefit to homeschooling your high schooler is that, in general, again, speaking in generalities, so there's always exceptions to the rule in every scenario, but high schooled children are in general more prepared for life. They're more likely to know how to properly cook meals. They are more likely to know how to care for siblings. They are more likely to know how to manage their time well. They are more likely to know how to have a job and balance school and how to juggle multiple things. They're more likely to know how to respond in various scenarios because they have more time to develop life skills. And life skills are things that are not taught in public education. And so oftentimes we all experienced it. I went to public school. You graduate and you have no idea how to file a tax return. or what taxes are even for, or, you know, those basic things are so important and they're not taught. And so a lot of parents, because they think that the government school will teach the children everything they need to know, they don't teach that, and then you don't know that. And so homeschooled kids generally know these things a lot better. They've had more experience with them, and so that is another huge benefit to homeschooling in high school. Another one that goes along kind of with that is a more smooth transition into adulthood. I've experienced this already with my daughter going into her senior year, but there's been a gradual transition in our homeschool that is fed into like her having a job, and now fed into her having college courses. And that transition has been a gradual, pretty seamless one, not perfect, but pretty seamless. I think that that is a huge benefit to homeschooling high school because of that. Whereas if you have a traditional schooled child and then they're thrust into the real world, that can feel very overwhelming. There's really not a time period where there's a transition of more or less. And so homeschooling in the way that you're taught to be a self-motivated learner, and a lot of the materials that most people use for high school, I have seen how that is so much better and so much more preparatory for life and college and even, you know, higher education. And so I think that's another huge advantage to homeschooling high school. Obviously, with this comes along the benefit of customizing your child's high school education to a certain extent with their future goals and aspirations. Homeschooling allows you to do that, whereas the public school model, even if they have, you know, more difficult classes or more remedial classes, it's all very much like boxed in approach, and you do this and then it gives you this outcome. Well, with homeschooling, it's able to be customized completely to each child and what makes sense for them. And so they're able to spend their brain power on things that are actually going to serve them in the future, and perhaps not do things that won't be. Obviously, you want them to have a basic general understanding of, you know, materials as necessary, but especially as they get older and they near that senior year, that junior year, you're able to really create a customized educational plan for them that fulfills where they think that the Lord is leading them. And that is a really wonderful thing that homeschooling provides. There's also the benefit of your teenager being able to work and homeschool. So they can get ahead financially in life, they can gain valuable skills through working, they can, you know, save for their future. There's just a lot of benefits to that. And, you know, a lot of children who go to public school will also have jobs, but they're more limited on the hours, they're more limited on the time. And of course, when your child's gone for 6 to 8 hours a day and then they have a job and then they're gone until midnight, like, you're never seeing your kid. And I would just be devastated by that. So I love that homeschooling my high schoolers have given them the opportunity to have jobs, learn how to work with people of all different walks and ages and just all different experiences. But I still see my kids a ton, and without homeschooling, that just would not be the case. So homeschooling really frees up the schedule again to make it work for them, and it's just been so wonderful to be able to say, you know, we're going to do more this day, or we're going to scale back this day, and, you know, you only work these many hours a week and we still see you this much. And it's just been such a blessing to us. And I think that there's a big blessing in homeschooling for the work balance life of a homeschooled teenager. And the last one, obviously, is just the freedom that homeschooling brings. Freedom for all the things. Freedom from the box checking that the public education model makes you do. Freedom from test scores defining your child's confidence and what they believe about themselves. Freedom from the world just permeating your kid with the music and dress and culture. Freedom to travel when you want. freedom to make memories when you want, freedom to stay up late having a heart-to-heart with your child when necessary, freedom to talk about things in your home in a safe environment where they can really open up and be vulnerable, freedom to grow into the people that God has intended for them to be. And the gift of it all is the time. I can tell you guys, I have almost graduated my daughter. She's going into her last year, and I would do it all again if I could. I have spent almost every day of her life with her, and it still is not enough time. And I am so thankful that I didn't give away my daughter's childhood to the school system. And I am so grateful for all of the memories and all the experiences, and I wouldn't change a thing. Homeschooling through high school has given me the blessing of time with her and time with my sons at the most critical hour of their lives as they define and really kind of cement down who they are as young adults. And I just cannot imagine a more important time to be there every day with your child, navigating. So those are my reasons for homeschooling high school, the biggest benefits that I think are out there. Of course, there's more. I could keep going, but those are like the top ones that come to mind that I hope just encourage your heart if you're considering homeschooling through high school, or if you've got those little kids at home and you're just wondering like, oh, I don't know. I just hope and pray that you are able to keep the right perspective on things in your child's life and really value what is most important, which is not prom. So, and homeschoolers can go to prom too, but you get what I'm saying. So I hope this video was an encouragement to you. Please give it a thumbs up if it was. Leave me a comment down below if you have any questions or feedback. And if you're a mom who is also homeschooling high schoolers, I would love to hear from you. Leave an encouraging comment down below with the reason or one of the biggest benefits you've seen. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye.